challenges to your industry, first of all, Mr. Brekke, because you were with the GSMA leading group yesterday, and you're saying, look, don't think about 5G yet, think about the issues of here and now. What are those issues?
Well, we are thinking about 5G as well, but commercially 5G is probably 3 or 4 years into the future. And what we see now is that the digital distributors, so the ones that are now taking digital positions in the world, are attacking our core business. And that's happening here and now. And that's why we really need to be prepared for that. So what we are talking about is how do we digitalize our own business, and also how do we monetize the increasing data demand.
How hard is it to monetize right now when you've got WhatsApp being offered for free? I can message, I just need to pay for data packages from you, and you're having to invest yet more and more in your own infrastructure.
No, it's hard because the increasing data demand, and that's happening in the advanced markets in the Nordics for us, but also in the emerging markets in Asia. That means more spectrum, that means more investment into the data networks. And to monetize that is hard. So what we are trying to do, it's twofold. One is to come up with good pricing solutions, bucket pricings, but also to introduce some own services. So we are trying our best now to also move into new type of verticals. In Asia we do financial services, medical services, we do classified services, because we also need to take our part of this growing digital pie.
Talk to me about Asia, because it was just announced last week that you've been, Bharti Airtel is going to be taking over your Indian unit. That means less investment, that means less capital expenditure. Where are you going to put that money to work that you're no longer having to throw at India?
The reason we decided to exit India was because of this growing data demand in the mass market in India as well. And our position was not sustainable, so we had to find a long-term solution. And I'm very happy that we now can hand over our operation to Bharti. That's the best for both our customers and our employees. So we are going to focus now on the other 5 markets we have in Asia, that being the growing digital markets in Malaysia, Thailand, but also new markets like Myanmar, Bangladesh and Pakistan. And we've seen these markets also that data demand is picking up very, very quickly.
So opportunities in the rest of Asia, but you did say that there were potentially other assets to sell of less strategic importance. Can you give us an idea of what is less strategically important to you at the moment?
Now, we said at the Capital Markets Day that we will review our portfolio, but I cannot go into details what that review will conclude in. But that's what we are doing now, and the reason for that is to focus now on the main strategy. And the main strategy is to digitalize our core business and be relevant also for our customers in the digital future.
And relevant to your shareholders, and certainly to the shareholders, you've been promising perhaps a pickup in dividends. Where do you see dividend growth going? At the moment, you have just said that it would be year-on-year growth. Can you give us a bit more fine-tuning?
Yeah, we have been very clear on our value creation. We want to continue to be having a good balance sheet. We want to continue to be very prudent in our M&A approach, and we want to continue to pay dividend to our shareholders. So what we have said is that we will have an actual increase year by year in our dividend. That's what we have had the last few years, and that's also what we plan to do in the coming years.
Prudent in your M&A approach, does that mean more acquisitions? Is it largely going to be in emerging Asia?
Right now, we are focusing on developing what we already have. And as I said, most of the investments now goes into building data networks, being in our advanced markets in the Nordics, but also in Asia. And right now, we also have focused on finding a solution for India. We are finding an exit in VimpelCom, which is another portfolio issue. So that's the main priority as we speak.
What about other more local markets? Denmark, for example, continued crimping on margins because of the level of competition there. How can you set yourselves apart?
Yeah, Denmark is the third market that we need to find a long-term solution for. And as you rightly pointed out, the competition in Denmark is not sustainable. Nobody's making money in the Danish market. So we also need to find a solution there. And those are the examples of the main priorities that we are having as we speak.
When you look at the wider industry, you were talking about some of the new areas you're moving into, whether it be healthcare, whether it be finance, but also you're trying to perhaps pump up the use of your own messaging services while so much has been taken over by Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp. How do you do that? How do you compete against these tech juggernauts that are just so easy to use, particularly within the millennials and Gen X?
Well, one example, we just signed a frame agreement with Google's on the rich communication service. We are trying that out in Norway now. That's one attempt to take back then the advanced messaging services.
Can you really take it back?
Well, not take it back, but at least be relevant in that space. Another example is that we have our own applications with, when it comes to storage services. We do online classified in several of our markets, so we take some selective bets also into digital services and products. And I think that's important for us to avoid us only ending up as a dumb pipe or a network provider.
So much years gone by of MWC was calling for the likes of Google and Facebook to have to contribute to the infrastructure spend that you guys put in. Is that a fight you've given up on now?
No, I wouldn't say that that there isn't a fight on that. But of course, in our relationship with digital players like the ones you mentioned, we also need to find a balance in the business models. And I think we have a good dialogue with them now on that. And in that sense, there are two different ways of approaching it. One way is as we do in the Nordics or advanced markets. Another way is in the Asian markets. And the benefit we have in the Asian markets is that we are the only one that actually have connections to all those millions of mass market customers. There is no fixed network out there. There is no Wi-Fi. And we are also the only one that actually can charge those customers, plus the distribution that we have. So in that sense, we are even more relevant for those players in that part of the world than we are in the European part of the world.